At Bank of Africa, we support enterprises that are expanding beyond borders. The Kwahu Business Forum is a valuable platform to build those connections.
Ecobank Ghana is proud to support enterprises expanding across the continent through our Pan-African network. The Kwahu Business Forum is a great opportunity to connect, collaborate, and unlock new possibilities for trade and investment.
Ghanaian businesses have enormous potential to compete in global markets. At Exim Bank, we are committed to supporting exporters and industries to bring Ghana to the world. The Kwahu Business Forum is an important platform to unlock these opportunities. Let's meet there.
Entrepreneurs are very important to the economy of Ghana and in any other developing country. They contribute more than 90% to businesses and more than 80% to employment. And that's why platforms like the Kwahu Business Forum are important. And I invite everybody to be part of it. We've been part of it from the beginning and will always continue to support the Kwahu Business Forum.
Real development begins at the local level. The District Assembly's Common Fund continues to support communities, infrastructure, and businesses across Ghana's districts.
National Investment Bank PLC remains committed to supporting Ghanaian businesses with the right investment and financial solutions they need to grow and scale up.
Power is proud to contribute to the growth of the precious mineral value chain. The Kwahu Business Forum brings together the partnerships and ideas that will shape Ghana's next phase of economic progress. Come, let's grow Ghana together.
At NutriFoods, an Olam subsidiary, we are proud to serve Ghanaian consumers through trusted homegrown brands.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're quite a kind audience and a very patient one. Our Chief of Staff, on whose shoulder we are riding on to bring to you this event, is back from the exhibition, quite a tall one, with his entourage. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We shall be proceeding with the event as planned. We shall give the Chief of Staff a moment to take a breather, drink some water, the weather is quite warm, and allow his entourage as well to take their seat, and then we shall proceed. We definitely respect all protocols. It will be quite a tall one, but there are some that are quite obvious. The Chief of Staff is here with his partner, Madam Victoria Tay Deborah as well. We've also seen Marietta Brew, Ghana's foremost legal brain that has helped us in our legal journey in Ghana. Of course, we've seen the man who is championing the 24-hour economy as well. We shall be hearing from him. We have seen Honorable Setekwe as well. It's quite a tall entourage. When you take a moment and you're breathing in, I shall be recognizing you duly. Kojo, you'd agree with me that when nations rise, it's definitely because we have bold conversations. And it's that bold conversation that brings partnership, and is exactly what we're doing today at the Kwahu Business Forum 2026. We definitely apologize again for the late start. Now that we have our kings and queens duly represented, we also have that woman whose responsibility is to ensure that the Eastern region is well catered to and catered for. We as well have been waiting. Kojo, you know, the Chief of Staff insisted she must be here. And I see that he managed to get her here. So you might do the honor to introduce her.
We could do it better. Let me take the opportunity to welcome the Regional Minister of the Eastern Region, Honorable Rita Akosua Awate, to give us the welcome address.
The Honorable Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Deborah, Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Agribusiness, Honorable Sector Ministers here present, Honorable Members of Parliament, our Municipal and District Chief Executives, our revered traditional authorities, captains of industries here present, our esteemed entrepreneurs, development partners, distinguished guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, a good morning to all of you. It is with great honor and deep sense of responsibility that I welcome all of you to the Kwahu Business Forum, especially you and your presence. It is refreshing to see such a distinguished gathering of business leaders, investors, policymakers, innovators who have come together with a shared purpose to exploit opportunities, forge partnerships, and drive economic growth within the Eastern region and Ghana as a whole. Kwahu is not only a center of tourism, but a symbol of entrepreneurship, innovation, and hard work with determination. It is therefore fitting to host you for this all-important forum at a time when our nation accelerates efforts to build a resilient and self-sustaining economy. The theme for this year's forum, the future of businesses, scaling up local enterprise, call for a deliberate shift towards industrialization, value addition, and the scaling of local enterprises that seek to create jobs and investment opportunities in the region and in the nation as a whole. Honorable people here present, as a coordinating council, we are committed to creating an enabling environment that supports businesses to grow. We recognize that private sector remains the engine of growth. It is through this strategic collaboration that we can unlock the full potential of local economy. The objective of this forum is clear: to provide a platform for dialogue, networking, and investment promotion. It is an opportunity for us to identify key sectors for growth, address challenges confronting businesses, and develop attainable strategies that will enhance development and capabilities. I humbly urge all participants to take full advantage of this forum, engage actively in discussions, share ideas, and explore partnerships that will lead to tangible outcomes. Let us move beyond dialogue to action, ensuring that the insight gained here translates into real investment, job creation, wealth creation, and improved livelihood for all our people. Ladies and gentlemen, to our development partners and investors, I extend a special invitation to consider the Eastern region as your preferred investment destination. We are ready to work with you, support your initiatives, and ensure that your investment yield mutual benefits and are very secure. Let me also use this platform to invite everyone here to our Expo 2026 in our region, a week-long investment drive being organized by the Regional Coordinating Council, NANANUM, and other stakeholders of the Eastern region to project small and medium business and opportunities. Before I take my seat, I wish to commend the organizers of this forum, and most especially our big men from the Eastern region and elsewhere, and for their foresight and dedication in bringing us together. I am confident that this gathering will make stronger collaborations and impactful investments. Once again, I warmly welcome you all to Kwahu and wish you a fruitful deliberation. Thank you, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. May God bless our beautiful Eastern region, and may God bless our party. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eastern Regional Minister, Honorable Rita Akosua-Awate, thank you so much. That was a warm welcome. The room is quite warm, but that message was quite warm as well. We can be kind with the applause. I like to think that a few of you were just passing and then you saw that there was an event here, you managed to register and you came here. A month ago, I've been talking about it on the Joy News channel that today we are assembling captains of industry, entrepreneurs, business owners, and I hope that you've been listening. But if you're listening and you're not taking it from me, the person who will say it for you to understand it properly is about to hit the stage. And ladies and gentlemen, Kojo, on behalf of the organizers, let's welcome the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Julius Deborah, to tell us the purpose of the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Honorable.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, Honorable Minister, Captains of Industry, entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to welcome you once again to Kwahu for this year's Business Forum. Kwahu has always stood for enterprise. It represents the hustle, discipline, courage, and the determination to build something meaningful from modest beginnings. Long before many of our former systems took shape, business in one form or another was happening at Kwahu. It's already been part of the Kwahu heritage. That is why Kwahu is not just a location for this forum, it is part of the meaning of Kwahu. What began a few years ago as an idea by President John Mahama has now grown into an annual national platform for serious business conversations, partnership, and action. The forum has become an Easter staple, but more importantly, it has become an economic platform where policy, capital, innovation, and enterprise can meet with purpose. I am deeply honored to serve as Chief of Staff under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, and it is a source of pride and privilege to help captains of businesses and to also head his team that he has assembled to actualize his economic agenda of recovery, growth, production, and opportunity. This forum speaks directly to that mission of the President. Why the Kwahu Business Forum matters? This forum is not a ceremony. It is an instrument. It is where policy meets practice, where capital meets creativity, where enterprise meets opportunity, and where public leadership and private ambitions are brought into one national conversation. Over the course of the gathering, there will be networking, exhibition, investment opportunities, and the sharing of ideas. But beyond all of that, what we are really trying to build is a stronger relationship between government and businesses, between established firms and emerging entrepreneurs, and between ambition and execution. Ghana does not need more talk for its own sake. Ghana needs more spaces that can convert conversations into collaborations and collaboration into outcomes. That is what the Kwahu Business Forum is meant to do. Ghana must move beyond commerce and become a manufacturing hub. Trade and services are important, and commerce will always remain an essential part of our economy. But commerce alone will not transform Ghana at the scale we need. We must now move with greater urgency and intention to position Ghana as the manufacturing hub of West Africa. No nation becomes truly prosperous by exporting raw materials alone and ending up importing value. We cannot continue to produce cocoa and import chocolate, grow food and import too much of what we could process locally, or ship out raw opportunity whilst buying back finished products at a premium. If Ghana is serious about structural transformation, then we must produce more of what we consume, process more of what we grow, and more value to what we mine, and build local industries that can compete within Ghana, across West Africa, and beyond. Exactly the vision of President John Dramani Mahama. Why this manufacturing push is urgent? Because it is urgent because it will result in jobs, value addition, exports, and an expansion in our GDP. This agenda is urgent because Ghana is a youthful country, and the demand for meaningful jobs is already pressing on the nation. Our young people do not just need inspiration, they need pathways to work, productivity, ownership, and dignity. Manufacturing creates these pathways at a larger scale for our people. It creates jobs not only inside factories, but across the wider chain: agriculture, logistics, packaging, engineering, maintenance, marketing, technology, warehousing, finance, and distribution. In other words, industrial growth multiplies opportunity far beyond a single production line. It also strengthens exports. deepens local supply chains, improves foreign exchange resilience, and expands GDP through value addition, rather than dependence on raw output alone. If we want a bigger economy, a more stable economy, and a more inclusive economy, then manufacturing must sit at the center of our growth strategy. Building a new compact between government and business is a must. Government has a duty to create the enabling environment, policy clarity, macroeconomic discipline, infrastructure, efficient regulation, skills development, and reliable power. Those responsibilities matter because serious businesses can only thrive when the fundamentals are strong. But business must also rise to the moment. The private sector must invest boldly, innovate consistency, formalize where necessary, and scale beyond comfort. We must build firms that think not only about immediate margins, but about long-term competitiveness, resiliency, and national impact. If we are serious about national transformation, then government and enterprise cannot operate as strangers and adversaries. They must work as partners in one common mission: to build a stronger, more productive, and more self-confident Ghanaian economy. Resilience, competitiveness, and the need for long-term thinking is necessary. We are operating in a world of uncertainty. Global conflict, supply chain disruptions, inflationary pressures, and geopolitical shocks all travel quickly into domestic business conditions. That means the language of enterprise today must also be the language of resiliency. We must build firms that can withstand shocks, adapt quickly, and remain competitive, even when the external environment becomes difficult. That requires stronger institutions, better planning, more local production, deeper supply chain, and a serious commitment to sustainability and governance. The businesses that will endure over the next decade will not only be profitable, they will also be disciplined, accountable, innovative, and built for longevity. Established business leaders must mentor the next generation of our business leaders. No economy becomes truly strong when success is hoarded. Our established entrepreneurs, industrialists, financiers, and corporate leaders must deliberately invest in mentoring young and upcoming business leaders. Those who have built successful enterprises have a responsibility not only to preserve what they have built, but to help reproduce excellent ones in them. They must open doors, share hard-earned lessons, and make room for the next generation to grow. Open a door for a young founder. Share experience with a growing entrepreneur, and he will always remember you. Help the next generation to avoid preventable mistakes that you did. Transfer not only capital, but wisdom, judgment, and discipline, as well as perspective. But this responsibility does not rest with established leaders alone. Younger business leaders must also make themselves available for mentorship. They must seek guidance with humility, show discipline, remain teachable, and value the benefit of experience. No one builds anything enduring by rejecting counsel. If you want to be successful, you must take counseling seriously and listen to the seniors who have pioneered the same way before. Mentorship is not charity. It is an economic strategy. It is how a country reproduces excellence, strengthens institutions, widens opportunities, and builds a sustainable economy of shared prosperity. Mentorship is not charity. It is an economic strategy. It is how a country reproduces excellence, strengthens institutions, widens opportunities, and builds a sustainable economy of shared prosperity. And for the younger generation, receiving mentorship must be treated not as a favor, but as a duty to learn, grow, and build responsibly. If those who have climbed are willing to extend the hand, then those who are rising must also be willing to reach for it. That is how we create continuity in leadership. That is how we build a stronger private sector, and that is how we secure Ghana's economic future. So let this forum send a message from the hills of Kwahu to every corner of Ghana that we are ready to build, ready to produce, ready to lead, and ready to lift others as we rise. This is our time, not merely to discuss Ghana's economic destiny, but to build it. Our time is to convert potential into factories, jobs, exports, innovation, and hope. And our time to move from an economy known mainly for commerce into one respected for production, transformation, and competitive strength. Let business lead with courage. Let government support with clarity. Let capital move with confidence. Let seasoned leaders raise the next generation. Let our young people see that this country still believes in their future and is prepared to build an economy big enough for all our dreams. If we rise to the task with discipline, ambition, and unity of purpose, future generations will say that when history called, we did not retreat into caution. We answered with answer. The action with which we answered will work. We built industries. We created jobs. We expanded opportunities. We grew Ghana from promise into power. May this forum inspire partnership, spark enterprise, deepen mentorship, and mark a new chapter in Ghana's economic transformation. May God bless our work, bless our businesses, and bless our beloved nation. Once again, we thank all the supporters and all the sponsors of this event, as well as all the exhibitors and your good selves for taking time off your Easter festivity to join us. God bless you all.
We can do it better. Let's do it better. Thank you, the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana, Chief Julius Deborah. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall proceed to have a goodwill message from the President of the Kwahu Business Advocacy, who doubles as the Chairman for Metalize Group, Mr. Kwabena Ejare Dankwa.
The Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Deborah, Honorable Ministers of State and parliamentarians present, the Presidential Advisor on 24-hour economy, Nananom, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor to extend my greetings of my goodwill message to all participants of this year's Business Forum. This gathering is said to be more than just an exchange of ideas. It is a platform for building partnerships, highlighting industries, fostering innovation, and driving sustainable growth. A few months ago, the Kwahu Business Advisory Advocate was officially inaugurated. The significance of this advocacy group is to inform policy on the bottleneck that impede business growth and development. Collaborate with government in job creation and support for entrepreneurship schemes, among other things. The Kwahu Business Forum has become necessary for policymakers, business leaders, and investors to come together not only to showcase industrial excellence, but also to reaffirm our collective commitment to Ghana's economic transformation through innovation, collaboration, and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, let us seize this opportunity to build bridges between sectors, spark new ideas, form new alliances, and chart a course towards inclusive and sustainable growth for our nation. A special commendation to the government and the organizers of Kwahu Business Forum for their dedication in championing the cause of Kwahu businesses and Ghanaian entrepreneurship in general. This forum is a testament to your commitment to promote Ghanaian businesses in the spirit of unity and togetherness. I wish all of us a productive and engaging discussions. May this event foster new collaborations, inspire actionable solutions, strengthen our networks, and drive our business efforts. Yadamasi, eba mu nyinaa akwaba se nyame nkan yi nyinaa ho.
Yedasepa, Mr. Kwabena Ejare Dankwa, Executive Chairman, Metalex Group, Yedase. We shall be hearing shortly from Dr. Guzitano, but quickly before that, we shall accord 2 minutes to our partners to share goodwill messages as well. We shall hear from KGL. We shall as well hear from CEO Star Oil. We shall as well hear from APSA PLC. And so in a particular order, if I've got Mr. Kenneth Mpari, Director of KGL, you join us and give us your goodwill message. Thank you so much as well for your partnership, ensuring that this year's forum is a success. Thank you.
The Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Pandit Asiama, Honorable Ministers of State, distinguished members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, captains of industry, members of academia, development partners, members of the diaspora, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. I think it's already past 12, so good afternoon. It is my singular honor and privilege to stand before you today on behalf of my chairman, Mr. Alex Dadi, and the entire group of KGL Group of Companies. The Kwahu Business Forum, a key economic forum that has over time evolved beyond a convening into a leading thought leadership forum for both the public and private sectors in Ghana. Here, ideas are rigorously examined, perspectives are meaningfully exchanged, and most importantly, the realities of doing business in Ghana are thoroughly shaped. Deliberate collaboration between public and private stakeholders. The theme for this year's forum, the future of business, the role of the financial sector, forces us to confront fundamental questions. Are financial systems truly enabling enterprise, or they unintentionally limiting the very growth we see? Because the future of our economy will depend not just on access to capital, but on how well that capital understands, supports, and grows Ghana businesses. It is for this reason that we at KGL Group of Companies have partnered with this forum. As an indigenous Ghanaian conglomerate with interest across technology, innovation, fintech, logistics, trade, property development, gaming, and commerce, we see our role as extending beyond business. We see ourselves as contributors on a broader national agenda, one that seeks to unlock economic growth, community empowerment, and build enduring institutions. This responsibility places firmly with a generational mission. The belief that good corporate citizenship anchored on good corporate governance is critical to any successful enterprise in Africa. Wealth created through PPPs should make a lasting impact on the communities that we operate in, not as a charity, but an investment in long-term stability, trust, and shared. For us as a group, supporting the forum reflects our belief in Ghana, its people, and the opportunities that lie ahead when we choose to think boldly and collaboratively and lead with purpose. As I conclude, I would like to leave you with a powerful thought from Gail Blank, inspired by the vision of Walt Disney. Walt Disney told his crew to build a castle first when constructing Disney World, knowing that vision would continue to serve as a motivation throughout the project. Oftentimes, when people fail to achieve what they want in life, it's because their vision isn't strong enough. The message speaks directly to us, and as business leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators, in a world full of challenges, uncertainty, and competition, it is not just strategy or resources that sustain us. It is vision. A clear, bold, and compelling vision. When the castle is visible, when the end goal is vivid in our minds, it fuels persistence, inspires teams, and gives meaning to every small step along the journey. Without even the best plan, can lose direction. So when we leave here today, let us not just walk away with ideas, but with renewed clarity of purpose. Let us build our castles first, define our vision so strongly that it pulls us forward, even when the road gets difficult. God bless our homeland Ghana, and may we all have a productive and impactful forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Kenneth Mparid is Director, KGL Group of Companies. Extend our appreciation to KGL for supporting the 2026 edition of the Kwahu Business Forum. And we shall now invite Mr. Kobla Nyalateb. He is Executive Director in charge of Retail and Business Banking, ABSA PLC. Ladies and gentlemen, be kind with the applause. A gentle reminder that we have just 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chief of Staff, Regional Minister, Nana Nom, Captains of Industry, ladies and gentlemen, ABSA is very happy to be part of the Kwahu Business Forum. We have supported and will continue to support. We believe strongly at ABSA that Ghana has a once-in-a-generation opportunity to truly take off, business-wise. Not only to take off, but to take off in a sustainable manner. In the last few months, we believe government has done a good job at stabilizing the macros. Today, interest rates are between 8 to 12. on the back of that, today, we can lend to businesses in similar range. We can lend to businesses without the need for any discount in the region of around 12, 13, 14%. We have never had that opportunity before. In difficult times, ABSA found innovative solutions to help businesses, especially SMEs. We pioneered the SME at 10% loan. Today, we can do that for many, many businesses. I dare say that the ball is in the court of entrepreneurs and businesses. We are ready to fund you. We are in search for bankable deals. And please, do talk to us. When I step off here, I'm looking for business leaders to approach me and to approach my colleagues, as you see in the foyer. Ladies and gentlemen, at ABSA, our commitment to lend to businesses is evidenced by the fact that among the top 4 banks in Ghana, we are the ones who lend the most to Ghanaian businesses. We put our capital to businesses. Equally, I look forward to very productive conversations this afternoon, through to tomorrow, through to Sunday. And businesses, please be rest assured that at ABSA, we are more than ready to fund you. Thank you very much, and do have a very good section.
Thank you, ABSA. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall proceed to have a keynote address from the Presidential Advisor, 24-Hour Economy and Accelerated Export Development, Dr. Gusi Tano.
The theme I'm required to speak to is the 24-hour economy, unlocking private sector participation for national productivity and inclusive growth. The chairman for the occasion, the Honorable Chief of Staff, Honorable Ministers, distinguished members of the Kwahu Business Forum Planning Committee, our traditional leaders, captains of industry, distinguished entrepreneurs and investors, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a privilege to be here in Kwahu, and I want to thank the organizers for bringing together a room like this. Business people, investors, policymakers, all in one place. So let me go straight to the question that matters most. How do we unlock productive potential of this country? Kwahu needs no introduction to Ghanaian business. From the days of the Gold Coast, Kwahu traders built networks in textiles, hardware, and pharmaceuticals, long before value chains became fashionable policy language. Their shops and warehouses in Okainshi, Tudu, and Makola turned quiet capital from these hills into the commercial heart of Accra. Ernest Bediako Sampong started with a single pharmacy shop in 1986 and built Ernest Chemist into one of West Africa's leading indigenous pharmaceutical companies. Names like Ajari Dankwa, Ofosu Banfo Sikkens, and Nimado of old represent a lineage of wealth builders who moved from provision stores to nationwide distribution networks, from carpentry yards to construction empires. That spirit runs across every region of this country. From manufacturing to financial services, from food processing to real estate, Ghanaian entrepreneurs have shown the same grit, the same patience, the same refusal to accept that we cannot build world-class businesses. But here is the challenge, and we must confront this challenge honestly. Too much of our economic activity remains concentrated on trading and import distribution. We consume more, than we produce. Goods that could be made competitively right in Ghana, such as garments, pharmaceuticals, processed foods, building materials, and household products are all imported. Every container that arrives is a job we did not create and foreign exchange we did not keep. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, in 2024 alone, we spent nearly 39 billion cedis importing food, rice, frozen chicken, sugar, cereals, even animal stomachs and guts, yinwadie, products we have every capacity to produce ourselves. And consider this, over 80% of everything Ghana exports is just three raw commodities: gold, crude oil, and cocoa beans. In 1920, it was gold, timber, and cocoa beans. The only thing that has changed is the crude oil. We must change this paradigm. We earn foreign exchange from raw materials and then spend it importing the very consumption goods we could be making here. That is a structural trap we must break out of. Now, whenever we make this argument, I hear the same pushback. Manufacturing is risky. Trading is predictable. You buy, you sell, you know your margin, end of story. Why would anyone put their capital into a factory when they can turn it around by importing one container, quickly distribute, make your margin, import the next container? I've heard this many, many times. And we understand it. And as Chief of Staff said, trade is always an essential component of our economic drive, our growth and expansion. But it cannot be the only story. It cannot be an import-dependent economy. And consider this. Examples of trading companies that have become huge conglomerates, manufacturing every conceivable item that we all use and we all buy. Samsung started as a small dried fish and noodle trading company in Korea in 1938. The founders of Hyundai started in rice trading. The Tata family in India built one of the largest industrial conglomerates from cotton trading profits. In Turkey, the Koch family began as small-town traders and grocers in Ankara and built Koch Holding, today the largest company in Turkey, manufacturing automobiles, appliances, and energy systems. In every one of these cases, it was trading capital, the same kind of capital that is sitting in this room, that financed the transition from commerce to production. We can do the same. None of those countries waited for someone else to come and make manufacturing safe for them. Their own business people looked at the risk, decided their nation's future was worth it, and invested. And we can do the same. The risk, of course, did not disappear. They managed it. They built the institutions, the partnerships, and the expertise to manage the risk of their environment. And we can also do the same. And that is exactly what we are asking of Ghanaian capital today. No one is going to come and mitigate our risk for us. And I'm speaking to the banks in particular. No one is going to come and mitigate the risk for us. That is our responsibility, and it's also our opportunity. The 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program exists to make that transition possible and practical. We are building with the private sector productive infrastructure that allows Ghanaian businesses to manufacture, process, and export at scale. Industrial parks with shared infrastructure, utilities, and logistics that bring down the cost of entering manufacturing business. Agroecological parks that connect farms to processing facilities, and a financing architecture that allows private investors to participate alongside government and development partners in specific projects. The flagship platform of the program is the Volta Economic Corridor. The corridor stretches from the port of Tema through Akosombo, across Afam Plains, through Yeji to Wipe and Yape, and on to Tamale. It runs right through the heart of this region and runs right through the heart of Ghana. We are building an integrated economy around the Volta Lake. Inland water transport that moves goods by barge from Akosombo to Wipe, cutting logistics costs by over 40% compared to road haulage. Agroecological parks along the lake and across Afam Plains, where farmers and processors operate side by side. A cassava processing corridor in the Afam Plains that contain one of our most abundant crops into starch, flour, industrial products for domestic use and for export. Pardon me. Industrial clusters connected to the transport network and many, many other initiatives. Renewable energy from our 24-hour plus Atri Energy 1,500 megawatt solar installation at Wipe, bringing power costs below 7 cents per kilowatt hour, making manufacturing along the corridor generally competitive. The plains and the land on both sides of the lake have enormous agricultural potential that has never been fully unlocked, largely because of poor transport links and the absence of processing infrastructure. The Volta Economic Corridor changes that equation entirely. When you can move produce by water instead of tracking it over damaged roads, when you have processing facilities close to the farms, and when the power is affordable and reliable, the economics of production in that area transforms. This is projected to create over 500,000 direct jobs along the corridor, and it is happening in your backyard. It is happening on the shorelines of Kwahu, in the plains, in the Desu, and all along to Simpwa and Fifi. Many of you in this room own land in the Afam Plains, and if you don't own it, I'm sure you're thinking about it. Land that today may be underutilized. When the corridor infrastructure is in place, that land becomes part of a productive economic system. That is an opportunity that belongs to you. Here is something that should excite you in this room. We are designing with a major multinational, well, actually several, a food and beverages park called the Kwahu Food and Beverage Park. It will include farms producing vegetables, tubers and root crops, alongside processing facilities that turn those raw materials into finished goods and beverage products for the Ghanaian market and for export. That is the kind of facility that turns Kwahu from a trading community into a manufacturing hub. And we want your investment in that center, and we want you to be at the center of this important initiative. There's another opportunity I want to put before you today. In Kumasi, we are developing the Machinery and Industrial Technology Park, anchored with the KNUST. This park will design and manufacture agricultural machinery locally, the kind of equipment our agro parks and our farms across the country will need. It connects the artisanal ecosystem in Swami Magazine and builds a proper value chain from design to fabrication to deployment. We are looking for private sector partners to invest alongside government and development institutions. This room has the capital and the industrial instincts and the expertise to be part of it. Think about what happens when a business that currently imports goods begins to manufacture those same goods locally. Food processing, pharmaceuticals, construction materials. Every one of these is a sector where Ghana currently sends money abroad that could be staying here, creating jobs and keeping foreign exchange in our country and in our economy. And under the African Continental Free Trade Area, a Ghanaian manufacturer does not serve the domestic market alone. You serve 1.4 billion consumers across the continent and 425 million consumers in the West African ECOWAS region. We are structuring investment vehicles so that this transformation is not carried out by any one investor alone. Pension funds, development finance institutions, diaspora investors, and private businesses can invest alongside each other in specific projects, sharing both the risk and the return. On foreign investment, we welcome it as partners. Ghanaian investors and international investors working together so that what comes with the investment is technology, market access, and world-class production standards. That is how we will build the industries of today and of tomorrow, and these industries that will last. Your forebears walked unpaved roads to build Ghana's trading networks. They did it with little capital, no guarantees, and no industrial parks waiting for them. You have more tools, more capital, more opportunity, more information than they ever had. The question is, what will you do with this opportunity? What will you do with this new infrastructure that allows you to deploy capital seamlessly in a manner that provides the growth and job creation we're looking for? The program is building the platform, the 24-hour program. The corridor is coming through your region. The parks are being designed. The financing is being structured. What we need now is for the people in this room to step up forward and say, we are in. We are in with you. We are in the Ghana transformation agenda. Ghana has everything it needs. And as this room reminds us today, we have a long and proud tradition of people who do not wait to be invited twice. We must together dare the present and the future and construct a self-reliant, safe, and secure Ghana for ourselves, our children, their children, and those who come after them. This is a humble ask of His Excellency President Mahama through the 24-hour transformation program, which represents a fierce, I repeat that, which represents a fierce determination to industrialize and to develop in all aspects of our national life. You are more than welcome to join us on this transformation journey. We wish you well. Thank you, and God bless all of us, and God bless our country, Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's some great assurances from Dr. Guzi Tano, Presidential Advisor, 24-Hour Economy, Accelerated Export Development. I'd allow you.
By the way, Madam, I'm Mr. Tano, humble Mr. Tano, no doctor.
Thank you so much. That's quite humbling. Thank you. Well, I shall reiterate it. Mr. Guzi Tano, Presidential Advisor, 24-Hour Economy and Accelerated Export Development. Some assurances from the 24-hour economy sector. We shall be hearing from Honorable Seth Tekbe, Senior Presidential Advisor on the economy. He shall be providing some updates on the Kwahu Business Forum. But I'm however directed, Honorable, please proceed to the podium. I'm however directed by the Chief of Staff to announce to you that the President of the Republic of Ghana shall arrive in Kwahu to attend or host a presidential gala, if you like, network, if you like, ball. I know it's strictly by invitation, but I have my shoulders up to announce it. Tomorrow as well, the President will be here in attendance of the main program. Honorable, please proceed.
Thank you very much. This is a big shoe to follow. It's been my senior in many ways. Honorable Chief of Staff, Honorable Ministers, Nananum, distinguished guests, captains of industry, members of the diplomatic corps, entrepreneurs and innovators present here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to address you once again at the Kwahu Business Forum. I have attended each of them. This year marks the third edition of the forum since its establishment in 2024. It has evolved into a credible and increasingly influential platform for business dialogue, investment promotion, and private sector engagement in the country. What began as a strategic initiative to harness Kwahu's Easter period as a center for commerce and investment, and as a can engage meaningfully on the opportunities and constraints within the Ghanaian economy. The premise underpinning this initiative remains clear. Ghanaian businesses are capable of competing both locally when supported by improved access to finance, markets, networks, and a predictable policy environment. And this has remained a mandate. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past year, the Forum has recorded steady and measurable progress. Participation has expanded in both scale and diversity, bringing together stakeholders from governments, the private sector, and the diaspora. More importantly, the quality of engagement has improved, with discussions becoming more focused, solutions-oriented, and aligned with practical outcomes. Encouragingly, we are beginning to see tangible results. Since 2024, several small and medium enterprises in the agribusiness sector have secured diaspora-backed financing. These investments have supported expansion in processing capacity and strengthened export readiness. A notable example, which also includes the domestic finance environment, is Dr. Otivius Gulf Chemical Limited. In the 2025 forum, she presented a proposal for a biofuel production project in Kwahu, Afram Plains. Through engagements facilitated by this platform and the Chief of Staff's office, excuse me. May I take that again? A notable example is Dr. Otavia Otu of Gulf Chemical Limited. At the 2025 forum, she presented a proposal for a biofuel production project in the Afram Plains, in the Kwahu Afram Plains. Through engagements facilitated by this platform and the Chief of Staff's office, she successfully secured funding supported from the Agricultural Development Bank. The project is now progressing. I believe that the funding proposals are to be, put to pen and paper pretty soon. This example underscores the practical values of the forum as a catalyst for partnerships that translate into real investment outcomes. There are others which hopefully next year will come to our attention and which we can celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, the relevance of Kwahu Business Forum will depend on its ability to consistently move from dialogue and talk to implementation. This must be through very conscious strategic engagements and planning. Based on experience so far, 3 key observations are evident. First, effective collaboration between the public and private sectors is essential for substantial economic development. Second, access, particularly to finance and decision makers, remain a critical constraint for many Ghanaian businesses, and this is something that must be tackled. Third, structured platforms that enable direct engagement among stakeholders can significantly improve investment outcomes. This year represents an important milestone. We are gathered on land made available through the leadership and support of the Kwahu Traditional Authority. This land is what we are currently using to host the Kwahu Business Forum and will serve as a site for a future Kwahu Convention and Business Village. I believe our traditional leaders at this point deserve an applause. We express our sincere appreciation to Nananom for this commitment, and it is our pledge and promise that the dream will continue to grow. As you can see, the site is still under development. This in itself is significant. It reflects what we are building. It reflects what we are building is not an event, but a long-term institution. Being present at this stage allows us to appreciate both the vision and the progress made so far, and to recognize that this initiative is already taking shape. The development of this facility represents a strategic step towards institutionalizing the forum and expanding its relevance beyond an annual event. It will serve as a venue for conferences, exhibitions, and sustained business engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, the continued success of the Kwahu Business Forum will depend on the collective effort of stakeholders. Government at all levels must maintain a stable, transparent, and enabling policy environment. The private sector must continue to invest, innovate, and scale up its operations. Our financial institutions and development partners must provide accessible and appropriate financing solutions. At this stage, permit me to mention one financial institution that has often been absent from the room when we discuss finance. It's now common to refer to patient capital, or financing that expresses itself in the long term. And this is where I wish to address the role of the Ghana Stock Exchange, the role that the Ghana Stock Exchange can play in conjunction with our development and investment institutions and banks, notably institutions like the Development Bank of Ghana, Ghana Exim, Ghana Infrastructure Investments Fund, National Investment Bank, Agri-Development Bank, and any other development institution, public and private. The states return to the long-term domestic bond or financial markets just this month, of which the Ghana Stock Exchange now plays a key role, must propel us to more action. I say this because within 5 years of President Mahama's first administration, putting the government bonds on the stock exchange, which incidentally, were impaired, but which is being revived. The bonds, the public bonds or the government bonds, became the largest fixed income markets on the Ghana Stock Exchange. We must plan, pilot, and launch long-term financing through instruments such as corporate, municipal, joint venture, build, operate, and transfer, and other strategic instruments that satisfy our desire for patience on long-term capital, both equity and loans. And this is where the Ghana Stock Exchange comes in. This can all be traded, and in combination with institutions like the pension funds, which propelled the government bonds before the haircut and other such instruments, I believe that we will be making much progress. But a caution, this step must be based on explicit preconditions for borrowing, given our HIPIC, haircuts, debt suspension, and the ills that we have gone through in recent times. We can borrow from an initiative such as one that was used for building the Terminal 3, which is to ring fence airport tax, which became, without government guarantee, the source of building Terminal 3, and which will continue to build to be the bridge that is being thought between Terminal 2, 1, 2, and 3, in order that we can expand airports. We can take this proposal to building a new, airport. Another example is the ring fencing of various airport fees and taxes, various port fees and taxes by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, which started the expansion of the Tema, harbour, which is into its third phase as we speak. In other words, a very conscious effort to borrow, but to promise, not to default, not to suffer another haircut. In other words, looking for strategies that would avoid all of this, which almost became, what Ghana is known for, is what is the bridge between what we wish to be as Ghana, industrialized, in other words, export, and in realizing those dreams, bridging finance and long-term capital for the private sector and state-owned enterprises, which are, important. Honorable Chief of Staff, I would wish that we pay attention to this proposal so that, and already I've been trying to coordinate and talk to some of the chief executives and the chief executive of the Ghana Stock Exchange. It is our proposal to make sure that we come to the Kwahu Business Forum next year with a proposal, a very concrete proposal for implementing this strategy and to realize our long-sought desire for patient or long-term capital. In conclusion, the Kwahu Business Forum represents a practical step towards strengthening Ghana's business environment and unlocking private sector potential. The progress so far is significant, but it must be sustained through deliberate action, strong partnerships, and continued focus on results. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the Kwahu Business Forum, and may the sun continue to rise from my home region, the Eastern region. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Seth Tekwe. He's just provided an update on the Kwahu Business Forum thus far. It's the third year, and we've made some remarkable strides. I'll take a minute to acknowledge the presence of Impraeso MP or Member of Parliament for Impraeso, Honorable Davis Ansah-Opoku, who's been doing quite the most at the Public Accounts Committee. I also see the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakohene. I'd like to also remind you that just a little later, we shall have a panel discussion on the topic Challenges, Solutions, and Industrialization through Local Sourcing, Cost of Doing Business in Ghana. I'd like to tell you that if not public knowledge, it's quite expensive to do business in Ghana. Government is trying to cut down on certain taxes, but it's still worth a conversation to have. We'll have that panel discussion in our local language, Chi. But right before that, we shall have a GIPC presentation. I am buying a little second for the production team to show us a video that the Honorable Seth Tekwe actually said in his speech. But if it is not ready, please, if you haven't been smiling, please smile. If you haven't been sitting well, sit well, because we've been live and we're still live on the Joy News channel. I'll take a minute to brag about it because we are the most authoritative news channel. So please sit well and smile. Could you?
Thank you, MFA. We are waiting for the production team, a GIPC presentation. Let's give that for him.
Good afternoon. Please, I'm not coming to give you a speech. I can't do that after having listened to the Chief of Staff and Honorable Guzi and Uncle Seth. Mine will be a short presentation, and many of you, how many of you are from the Eastern region? Let me see, how many? Okay, so less than 20% of the people in the room are from the Eastern region. So I'm going to tell you something about the Eastern region, something that you know, but you haven't thought about it. And we are going to start with a short documentary on the Eastern region on the project that we call the IOMP, which is the Investment Opportunities Mapping. So this project was launched by the Honorable Chief of Staff, and our objective is to map out opportunities in all 261 districts of Ghana. So it makes it easier for us to sell them to prospective investors, both existing and prospective investors. So Kwame, if you are ready, let's see what we have in the Eastern region. A very short video, so let me distract you from the speeches.
Just beyond the Battle of Accra, the landscape rises into green ridges, fertile valleys, and expansive farmlands. This is the Eastern region, one of Ghana's most strategically positioned regions for investment. Connected to the capital by major transport corridors and blessed with natural resources, the region combines accessibility with abundant land, water, and agricultural potential. From export agriculture and agro-processing to tourism, renewable energy, logistics, and urban development, the Eastern region presents a diverse and rapidly expanding investment landscape. Agriculture is the foundation of the Eastern region's economy, but increasingly the focus is shifting from production to value creation. The region's fertile soils and tropical climate support the cultivation of pineapples, mangoes, cocoa, cassava, plantain, and vegetables across districts such as Nsawam, Suhum, Kade, and the Krobo areas. In particular, the Somanya and Yulo Krobo belt has become one of Ghana's most suitable zone, one of Ghana's most suitable zones for large-scale mango cultivation, expanding horticulture industry present for export markets, cassava starch and industrial flour production, cocoa grinding and chocolate manufacturing, vegetable greenhouse farming, and irrigation projects. With its proximity to the Tema port, agricultural export from the Eastern region can reach global markets quickly and efficiently. The Eastern region is widely regarded as one of Ghana's most naturally beautiful regions. The scenic Epiapim Togo Range stretches across the landscape, creating dramatic viewpoints, forest reserves, and cool mountain climate that attract visitors year-round. Tourists are drawn to iconic sites such as Boti Falls, one of Ghana's most spectacular twin waterfalls, and the historic Ebri Botanical Gardens, a tranquil garden established in the 19th century that attracts both researchers and leisure visitors. The forested Ekrapim Hills host the beautiful Asinima waterfall, dropping about 15 to 20 meters into a natural pool. Bunso Eco Park offers one of the Eastern region's most exciting nature experiences, combining forest adventure, ecotourism, and scenic leisure in a unique destination. From the thrilling height of Kwahu Easter to the rich cultural festivals of Somanya and communities across the Eastern region, celebration has become a powerful economic force. These events attract thousands of visitors, energize local businesses, and spotlight the region as a prime destination for tourism-led investment. For investors, the opportunity extends beyond the festival season into hospitality, entertainment, transport, property development, and destination infrastructure. Energy infrastructure has long positioned the Eastern region as a pillar of Ghana's national economy. The region hosts two of Ghana's most important hydroelectric installations, the Akosombo Dam and the Bon Dam. These installations supply a significant portion of the country's electricity and anchor a growing energy ecosystem. Along the shores of the Volta Lake, opportunities are emerging in aquaculture, water transport, renewable energy, and lakeside tourism. Commercial cage fish farming, fish processing facilities, and water transport services connecting inland regions are all sectors poised for expansion. The Eastern region's proximity to Accra and major national highways make it an ideal location for manufacturing and logistics. As Ghana's economy expands, the Eastern region is positioned to serve as a strategic industrial and distribution gateway, linking Accra to northern Ghana and the wider West African market. The Eastern region is accessible, resource-rich, and full of opportunity. It offers investors a rare combination of fertile land, tourism potential, strategic infrastructure, and proximity to Ghana's largest economic center. From export agriculture and agro-processing to eco-tourism, manufacturing, renewable energy, and logistics, the opportunities are diverse and expanding. For investors looking to participate in Ghana's next phase of growth, the message is clear. The Eastern region is ready. Ghana is open for business.
Thank you very much. And I think you can clap enough for the video from GIPC. So if you will not praise us, let me praise the team for doing it. But we'll give you a very short presentation at the Kwahu Business Forum, and I'll be quick so that we don't take much of your time. For many of you who are new to Ghana, I see some of you are new here. So this is Ghana at a glance for you. Kwame, do you have that? Let's move on. Let's get to the next one. Thank you. Move to the next one. And the Honorable Setekwe spoke about the economic indicators. So 3 key points. Now, 1, any government that's serious about business will do these 3 things. What is government doing? 1, to stay within the, what you call the fiscals. So to spend what we have. And that has been done. So you can see that we are spending within budget. So that is 1. Then the next one to look out for any business is where is government spending their money. The government of Ghana is spending the money in 2 or 3 growth areas. One is the 24-hour economy, so eloquently delivered by the Honorable Guzitano. And then the other one is the big push. The big push is a $10 billion 5-year infrastructure development to connect regional capital, district capital, food-growing areas, and some of the most significant roads that will transform our country. So those are the growth areas. Then the third one that the private sector will look out for is where are the reforms taking place to ensure that there's private sector participation. So you see reforms in the VAT. The VAT has been rationalized. It's around 20%. The effective rate itself is 15%. The average VAT rate in West Africa is around 18%. It's only Nigeria that has 7%. Ghana's one is 15. There are a few levies here and there, so bear with us. Now, beyond the VAT, what else is government doing? So recently, the Ghana Investment Promotion Law has been passed in Parliament with a mandate to help Ghanaian businesses to also explore opportunities abroad. That's one other component of it. Then for those of you who are in the digital space, you hear the Bank of Ghana talk about the cryptocurrency law, which is the Virtual Assets Service Providers Law. All of these are the different growth areas and growth poles, in addition to the traditional areas that the Honorable Guzitando mentioned. And then all the efforts being done by the government to reduce inflation, to build the reserves, and to ensure that if you are seeking for foreign currency, you can get it at a rate which is affordable, and also the currency is readily available. So these are the 3 areas that government is looking at. But today we are in the Eastern region. So let's look at the Eastern region. This is the map of the eastern region. I come from a border town to the eastern region. So my one leg is in the eastern region and the other is in Greater Accra. I come from the holy village of Agomena, which is very close. In 2 minutes, you are in Somanya, which is the eastern region. So for those of you who don't know, this is how the eastern region map looks like. It's one of the 16 regions, and Koforidua is the capital. Kwame, let's move on quickly. It has 33 districts. It occupies about 19,000 square kilometers of opportunities. And if you look at the statistical service, these are the businesses registered in Eastern region, close to 180,000 businesses. Now, overall in Ghana, there are 2.6 million businesses in Ghana, if you look at the statistical service data that was released, I think 2 weeks ago. And the Eastern region has a population close to 3 million people. Now, why is that significant? In 15 years' time, the population of Ghana will be 50 million. 15 years. Today we are 35 million. So in 15 years' time, we are going to have 15 million more people. That's 15 million more opportunities that businesses can tap in. And we have about 44 wholly owned Ghanaian registered businesses in the Eastern region. So why the Eastern region? It's primarily for its strategic location. It also for its natural resources. It has energy and water resources, and has a strong agriculture and trading base. You know, Honorable Guzitano mentioned Mr. What's his name? Enimado. Now, if you go through the history books, Enimado was the richest man in West Africa during the formation of Ghana. He was one of the first persons to import sardines from the UK. He was a real merchant, and he comes from your region. So that gives us an idea of the strength of the entrepreneurial spirit of the Eastern region. Now, there are also some flagship and pipeline projects in the Eastern region. So projects like the garment manufacturing factory. In this year's budget, the government of Ghana is allocating funds for the construction of a garment factory in the Eastern region. Then there is the Accra-Kumasi Express Road, which will be passing through the Eastern region. Even though the Ashanti Regional Minister is here, he's the destination, but the Eastern region will be the carrier. So that also provides you with a lot of opportunities if you are interested. We have the rain-fed agricultural development, which happens here. There's the Eastern Railways for those of you interested, and also irrigation projects and development. I can see my colleague Hanan here from the irrigation development. He's with us here. Now, you cannot talk about the Eastern region without looking at the extractive sector. So now we have Zijin. Zijin took over Newmont's Achim mines, and that provides a lot of opportunities for many in the service industry in mining. As you can see, the government of Ghana is moving gradually towards local ownership and operation in the mining sector. So there is a lot of local content regulations. We encourage many of you, the businesses here, to really take strong interest in the mining sector in the region. And I want to share with you an interesting statistic. So from 1994 to December 2025, Ghanaian investors, which are local people with their own money, they've invested over $1.9 billion in the Eastern region. That's Ghana. If I were you, I'll clap for Ghanaian investors. Registering over 44 projects. And this is just data that we have. This is not foreign investment. This is wholly owned Ghanaian projects. So that attests to the strength of the business people in this region. This is arguably the highest in all of the 16 regions. Then we move on to wholly foreign-owned businesses that have been registered in the Eastern region. So I'll share this data with you. The foreign businesses as compared to the Ghanaian businesses is just a little over $690 million from 1994 to date. So clearly, many of you here know how to invest in the Eastern region, and we encourage you to do a lot more. So you have the breakdown. Kwame, please, can you move on? Let me not waste their time. Yes. So this is wholly foreign owned. Yes. Right. So these are some of the foreign businesses in the Eastern region. We have a long list of Ghanaian businesses that are also operating in the Eastern region. So let's move on to some of the investment opportunities within the Eastern region while we are here, so we can share that quickly with you. There's the National Poultry and Feed Corridor, which serves through the Eastern region, and that has an investment potential of roughly $200 million, and that will save Ghana about $380 million in import substitution. So if you go to the website of the 24-hour economy, the National Poultry and Feed Corridor project is highlighted there. Then, Honorable Guzi mentioned the Kwahu Cassava Agro-Industrial Park, which needs an investment of about $130 million with a rate of returns between 18 to 22%. Now, let me break that down for you. So, Africa is one of the places where you get a very high return on your investment. Nowhere else in the world would you get that. In the developed economies, you are dealing with 5 to 6%. In Africa, you are dealing between 18 to 25%. So this particular investment has a return rate of up to 22% and about 5 to 8 years for your payback, and also deals with the import substitution of about $200 million. It means we spend this amount in importing. Then, if you listen to Honorable Guzi, he mentioned the Legon Pharmaceutical Park. It is not at the University of Ghana, it's at Akuse, which is also in the Eastern region. And the investment needed is about $350 million. I think if for nothing at all, we'll leave this place knowing that Ghana's pharmaceutical sector is controlled by the people from the Eastern region. So we want them to clap for themselves, but also move to the Legon Pharmaceutical Park, which I believe is one of the reasons why it's in Akuse. Okay, he's asked me to wrap up, so I'll do it quickly. You have the Volta Lake Aquaculture, and we'll leave this with you, please. One other investment I want to highlight, which is already happening, is in Afram Plains. So for those of you who know the Nobi Agriculture Limited, there are further opportunities for growth in and around that. Then there's the Akosomo Textiles, which is up for investment. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry is looking for strategic investors for the Akosomo Textiles. Now, in terms of the cocoa value chain, Ghana contributes about 20% of the global cocoa supply. But there are opportunities in private nurseries, in private plantations for cocoa, and governments desire to grow 200,000 hectares of cocoa. There are also opportunities in tourism and aquaculture. The Eastern region is also known as the furniture manufacturing and wood products factory or hub, and there are huge opportunities in that one. It also has potential for fruits and vegetables. Now, I want to talk a little about coal, but I'll leave it for those who are from coal because I'm being told that I don't have enough time. But we know what coal represents. It's not just a town on the mountain, but it's a town with a lot of determination. So why coal? Because it's strategically located. It has a growing tourism destination. It has a strong business and diaspora relations. And these are some of the investment drives in coal. There are, we have a lot of visitors around Easter, and there's increasing domestic tourism as well as increasing businesses in here. There's a strong SME base, and there are a lot of agro-processing. Now, let's move. So this is a snapshot of the opportunities that you have in coal. It's agriculture, tourism, trade, infrastructure, and most importantly, as said by the Chief of Staff, manufacturing. We want to be the manufacturing hub in West Africa and on the continent. I will skip all the incentives that government has for investing in the Eastern region, but suffice to let you know that if you invest in the Eastern region, your corporate income tax, if it's in Kofrodia, is 18.7%. If it's outside of Kofrodia in any of the other places, it's 12%, as against the national average of 25% where you are in Accra. So I want to urge you to please move your businesses a little away from Accra, that is choked, to come to the Eastern region, particularly coal and into Afram Plains, where you have a lot of opportunities. I won't bore you much, but I'll pause here. I'll leave this presentation, and thank you very much for listening to us. And this is the Kwahu Business Forum, but we'll call it the KBF. We'll see you at the next KBF. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. We can do it better. Let's do it for him. Next, we will be having a panel discussion, and to do us the honor of moderating the discussion we have Abena Opokua and Don Kwabena Pra. Let's give it up for them.
Esteemed Chief.
Yeah, better more say.
Yama Obibia aha awie eba Kwahu emprise so ye Kwahu Business Forum Jumadi Diameje so ene Abena Pokua near many abema.
Your friend me Don Kwabena Pra, me Juma XYZ Broadcasting, and under XYZ we have Radio XYZ 93.1, your Power FM 97.9, and after your TV XYZ and your XYZ online. Madam Wase.
Besno multimedia Adom Brands na ye wo hayi ye ne empenyifo akukudam ennan ya sauba Kwahu haseya ye beka se omo eye dwadifo businessmen ene betna se adin komo na ne nyina no eye dwadie wo hweti po a ene ye ka ho asem na ye ka industrialization wo de ba ya kanka se ne ma obi ebebisa ese ye se ye fati se koko na se ye dandan ya na ba ye chocolate a eno ene ye beka se industrialization ye beka ho asem ye ka se local source na se koko na ye dan ye ni na abaye chocolate no ekwan ben ye de fa so na enioma ye de fa so edane no ye to wo ha ya anase ye kra ene de baye enti ene ye ni ye papa nom ne ye mame ebedi sankomo yi na mama yen enkyeremu se de adwade etie e wo man Ghana muti kwabna menim so yade e wa anwensem ye janom ne enuanom atena se ache fa ye kokakra na fa ye bedwa fomra
we ne san kamisha me battery kese no man sha battery kese no
okay
then so de nananom e de ahyema no se me famra dwabo yase no madaroma nidie mu ara momientie kakra we mato ne din nyansapo ne etie nie wosmenya janka nanso matoba ha obra na edan mekai minkuku ene minkaka minia katua makoya jija manisu yasa hwan na eba beka hwan so na epepa frame resantene yantumi antene andwene yansane yesi ahene yantumi nsia peni ye grotwene ye groketi emu ahwene ne dwete nefe esi yetumi ye ne yese oba de abra hyehyɛ de kyɛ si enje yenya ne yese enso yesi yempe yo ago susuampa ampeniampa mrikasa deja trokan kra Africa Ghana Kenya Nigeria Uganda Angola Tunisia munyina enti akasesam kwa mo bresre giretete mu wi amakase yemfanche muni sumnya muni kete nanso ye panum de ahosepe ene ahote da bida mo bra wakakrawa yentumi fansia wowa asiye pata nanso ya ye futam kena ye wi aye de ahyabrewa bi otene ba bi bobna sanema ne nananka nso anyina abo asesa nana kafra aha ya Africa enye bayi a na bia kashire ya ye de so ane omeya esi agi yakoye chi kohwe ye nchi baby a ye free ne ye chiri ne ye titiri ene anintini won hini etintimye epintimye enye saa ye bebo asesa saa ye be ya kesesam saa ye wi a adwendwen saa ne ye kopantan santan sese ye busa hwan yahye so ayi obi man akonde abro no so
okay
ye ne ye ho a ye ntumi ne ye ho ye tison ya betison ye nison sese ya bna akaya adwene nso ne senti na esi ye banhyiamu e wo Kwahu adwadie enhyiamu kase yase ne etoato adwene si ye bede ye ho se Africa ebibrem yensuo nie saponie nananom animu a akaya samna abna
Meda se Kwabena Pra na otene kano ensembo kese yemfa emakwabna enti efa yadu Kwabena ye beda ya bedwafo ayi no mo bedi dwuma yedi de odi kan ya metonsa afre no aba esroha eye nana abrapia nana eye kronti hene ewo emprise so Kwahu baby ayeti edi dwuma yi ye kronti hene no ye kanana abrapia o ye businessman ɛsan so ɛyɛ banka eti wontumi ɛmmɔ nana abra piadin na wonye no emfiri mu emre bi atwa amalgamated bank yɛ ebetwa no tia fɛ no ama bank no yɛ papa yi ɛne kɔ hɔ ekoyi nkonya ɛsesa enioma nana abra pia nana akwaba yɛda ase kwabena wadaroma da ofofra di mame
pamsho ni die mu an your toso Nana Apa Newton. Nana Apa Newton, Anna Eda Jumedie Kessia, your friend Upper Farms, or no also Anna Chairman, Emma Kwahu, a Jedi Mukessie. Nana Apa Newton, wa born homodin, a Jedi Jumedie Mu, quite breso, see a bois, Nedjane, Ebu, a woman with na a bonicoto Jumua, and Nissa, or no also Anna Ne Jumedia Yediano, a cynical to Jesuo. Nana Aji Abodim Bebre, Nim Jet Fresh year, into Nana Apa Newton, Wadaruma Oaha, Yamuakwaba.
Doctor Apa. Yeti or your doctor kunini pa. And now and neya yeka so or woku adwuma mu den. Your fellow Doctor Apa. Okwa a Kwahu Forum soa. Ujina ne naso ankasa e wo dog.
Doctor Apa Newton,
Doctor Apa Newton. Yento aso. Ke yenko.
Fakko. Ni onu so to aso. Madam Patience Ofuriata. Pamcho Madam Patience Ofuriata and the Jumedia friend Black Park and no Black Park Jumedia Bebre or my Ghana mu or Obataya Odija na ebuo soso ewo nefapa Madam Ofuriata at the Jumedia Bebre were Jediemu waha any amanone and the Jumedia Obasie no the nim dear and in any munyam abetetri Yamonsam Kesian Frenchia Madam Patience Ofuriata.
Okay. Na yeguso ehhye ye mame anase twen ye mame Black Park no. Mame na ye Theodore Albright edi. Ono aso ebeka ye ho ewosro ha na ye di enkomo. Oye emranim ni na osanso ye mpacho bra. Yeda sepa eno sanso eba no amamu a se ye kase emunim de owobi pa ono so beboa yen na ye dijuma no enne na ye papa pakasen so ebeka ye ho ewo ha enti okay all right enti yemfa omo mabai na yenhye yenkomodie asekwabna bomodia na etina menchen wo ha na ka osi etim na so ni na eye enti Meshase ewo nana brapia ewo na mediaba Dr. Apa Mr. Albright Council yeda se nana eba ejadie ewo my Ghana mu a obi ebeka se ejadie no yakɔ efe ahoto wom emprempren a ye wom ye wo Ghana se yes nana ewo
once we know aso
pa
yeda se
na ansana no memfa price so hene a friend no ampadu da aduam menkra emamo asase ya etisui price so asase na obi kasa no kan bibi se Kwahu traditional council se bibi na ma asase dabi Price Yenny Assasia. Or so more Piara or Habia Aquaba. Now, Ojedi said, we need your credit Kaya or de ba Koua Kai who said, and Price Hills are back. Tino one so, and then paying for that. A bias, papa. One of the bear was me and Sape. And a year you won't hide. We did say, you weigh and then in its name, a dinner. Uncle Bass said, after Obe Pahano, now work about Kokra India. David Moncosonamon, yes, any more plan somewhere. Over a Jared Uncle, Metales, Namin Shroud. Chancy assassin, a bid you in some. And a year old pet, a moko until Amaba said. Where you be said, company ya abasa 1 person 1 bay said you may one on cost. Yedasi. I say, well, beside, no, therefore, Dion, Gentlemen can say a number I will know. Bibia and Koye, anaasɛ biribiara ɛkɔ yie daabi yɛgu so ɛsom na yɛka oburoni ka biribi sɛ development a na development no ɛyɛ adeɛ a daa ɛtoa so a ɛkɔ yɛntumi nka sɛ ɛyɛ anaa ɛnyɛ na mmom no aban bi a yɛde anim sɛ wɔba Ghana ha no bɛti yɛ manyi o ɔba ite de mahu bi nea ɔbɛba so biara no ɔtry sɛ ɔbɛ improve upon deɛ ɔkɔɛ no a ɔno bɛfa ne poma no hwɛ sɛ ɛsi yɛka adeɛ bɛkyeɛn mmerɛ no nso kɔ mo ama di kan aka sɛ yɛba yɛ akyɛ nanso no mɛkyerɛw sɛ dwumadie biara a ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ ɔman yi mu no challenges ɛwɔ mu a mo si yɛnka ho asɛm yi aban wɔ ne challenges ɛna entrepreneurs nso ɛwɔ wɔn nso challenges
mo sinto
na mbom no si ɛbɛfa entrepreneurs no deɛ ne deɛ a hwɛ mo frɛ me sɛ me mail na wo ka biribi sɛ ma di dwa pɛn ma yɛ wei hwɛ me factories mmienu egu yɛ ɛnam deɛ nti a korɔ no adwumafoɔ no korɔ no a yɛbɔ nti no ama adwuma no nyinaa ɔpanyin bi ne yɛfrɛ no Apiada Nkwa wɔfiri Nkwatia ha ɔno na ɔkyerɛ me sɛ yaw produce nadoa na nadoa adwuma no yɛ paa hoho wawu kɔ deɛ nanso da biara mesɔre ma no akorɔmfoɔ wia me saa
na yɛ akorɔmfoɔ mu fira bɔnten anaasɛ ɔmo mo adwuma
no na yɛ adwuma no bi ofi abɔnten deɛ sɛ wɔkyema ati adokwa no
okay
wall a ɛwɔ factory no ɛde agye ho no wo sɛ nadoa yi yɛwɔ half inch 1 inch 1.5 2 akɔsi 6 inches ya box no na akɔ baabi ne yɛ kora no hɔ a yɛfrɛ no warehouse no free production hɔ no ɛkɔ warehouse hɔ no wɔne de agu ayi mu a yɛde kɔ gu warehouse hɔ no na wɔne to fa ɔfasuo no wɔ no so da bia maame bi ɔte wɔ ɛha no na ɔsɛ bɛ ɔbɛba bɛka kyerɛ me so ahu ɔbɛka kyerɛ me yɛtetɛ wɔ no adeɛ kye yɛn wɔn amma bio sɛ da bia wɔn de kaa bɛsi wɔ no wɔn load gum hwɛ sɛ nka wo frɛ metalist abɛka yɛ ho wɔ ha
ɔbɛka ne deɛ
anka deɛ ɔbɛka wira bɛhɔ ama nipa a wɔn kɔ yi
okay nti ne kyɛ sɛ deɛ nana abrape a ɛkyɛ ne nyinaa sɛ aban wɔ sodie ɛna ankorankora nso wɔ sodie ɛna adwumayɛfoɔ nso a mo a manya sika bi enwuma ɛfɔm no nso no ɛwɔ asodie yɛnkɔ Dr. Apia hɔ na yɛmisa no dwadie wɔ
Dr. Apa
Dr. Apa wadaroma sɛ yɛka edwadie wɔ man yi mu a nim so ayɛ adwuma kyɛ ɛwɔ mu sɛ doctor no ɛna wodi akɔtea wie wodi aba abewi ha sei edwadie te sɛn Ghana ha
yo no asɛm kakra ɛkyia mu nyinaa na sɛne na nabrape akaeɛ no aban ɛwɔ ne problems and entrepreneurs ɛwɔ problems me a retired doctor surgeon maba me the adwuma abra nkwadaa ama wayɛ nti me venture into poultry. It came to a time I was the biggest poultry farmer in the Eastern region. Na chrono, okura key to the
factory no,
mill no,
yeah,
feed mill no, and na jo yakofa bro diaba, no akofa pickup. I have 28 bags.
The call.
Not the call. There be a and me boka case. And no enter there. Me see me a factory. And actually a factory no our Kwahu that will be the most modern processing factory in Ghana. You didn't get money be good why cables, copper pipes, you be wearing in America almost $400,000. Me good to say I can't almost 1-2% maybe a factory. we are near money in a cable drums, you know. I watch my daho.
Tidok, and no, you fear, and I won't see an
I watch my daho. Eximban name.
Okay. Doc,
Eximban is aware. I've got picture. Every year is my cost now.
Okay.
And don't think about that. Second problem I have with the banks. I buy me a Saturday full or a from planes. Invested $2 million in your company, Vital Capital, so normal boy. They came with 8 million, a budget of 80 million. Yet Ghana have banks, you have 80 million, and neighbor investment a year in a from planes in Nagu. We had friends, irrigation.
Okay.
Yes, we dance so. Yeah, friends and dryers in it. Dryers near India. I can't know no sufiho. You be any tractors. As I speak to in the front plains, it's not far from where friends, chief of staff or.
Okay.
You be any money now. You call bank. 8 million and yen sanka 8 million much managu. Because Eco Bank, na me pesca, with collateral, a dime also down crown, airport resident on it, a dime the on town bebre. Maybe food, papa. And the day after, Mr. Mum, 2 days, I had money from England and came and I borrowed money against money. And the problems I war business in Ghana, Chrono, and a bank.
Okay.
Yeah. Doc, yeah, that's it. Okay. I'm saying now, Doc, talk about say.
Yes, Ram.
Yeah.
Yes, Ram. Say, Nkwada Mamba, I pay my mamma. Moye, Move na, a Jumana Cosso, no Musmania Bibi, young corporation and an came. Buana airborne. Yavian Bay, and a bank on the separate of Russia. Muniwa. Yeniho, a British bank Scandinavia. And the Abana was farming, especially I'm talking about farming. We don't support farmers. Why don't you support farmers? Honorable
Doc, maybe, sir, experience I will share with the bank. And this has some bank in the kind, I say, I didn't feel say, Biana, since I bring almost say, yes, I jane. And then they said, yeah, bank. They
said, and I'm there already, as I said. So for me,
Abba, okay.
Honorable Abba. Say the radio as I say we Abba because processing factory now. Fact, it's 24-hour. If we are able to do even 2 shifts, we can process 32,000 beds a day.
Okay.
Which means that we have 24-hour economy. In the bank for the slum, we have money every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has said Dr. Appa, Yango.
Yeah, Doc, you better was but Ora Albright, boy, na Yancy Bibias, because Uti Nana, now Uti Doka, or Munina come about a Jedi Mune and Yamaya considered the moment, but we am random name. And to say, yes, Shamra, you bet me dear boy, a Jedi home bra. A quite many bet me dear faso, now my Jedi and I dinner home. Now, Finia Tosubiono, a woman named Sika Crabian in Kitan Udina, na Doctor Kanwa no. Send one bet me at the one home, now all many of Faso, Nessica Crabian soa. Ebo mechino almost when you move so muhiam.
Maka said, Nyama miensa, and I was here. Bakuni say, yeah, business no. I was say a share, na, yatutu Nyama ye. Number 1. Number 2, say yatutu Nyama ni year. At say oba and who had fair, or called Joma. Obia pese oyeden o ware no nti se yen business ye tutu ni year bank no betimi ahwe na omama bosia. Number 3 ombeka se oba no ho efe na emoma e wo se obi ba no bedi no ho adanse sa adanse no ene e besre aban se aban se upese nkoso ba ya brabo mu dia and I was said, Bibia a friend, patient capital, and a soft loan. Utimi, Uti, bought who by said, many aban no asɛm a aberanteɛ kan anaasɛ ɔbaa kan nokora wɔ mu nti mɛbake no with a softer loan na watimi de ama no na watimi de ayɛ adwuma nti the first will be governance yɛbɛtutu yɛ nneɛma yie. The second will be the enabling environment aban bɛma na yɛ possible. The third will be the bank bɛka sɛ oh asɛm a aberanteɛ kan ɛna asɛm a aban kan no nokora wɔ mu nti mɛtumi asom na mɛtumi ama mo loan. Nokora nie bank no ɔbɔ bosia no sɛ obɛnya mfasoɔ nyɛ saa ɔnyɛ charity nti ɔhwɛ ha na treasury bills ɛna ɔde ne sika kɔto hɔ a ɔnya problem a ɔde ne sika bɛkɔ akɔto hɔ nokora nie nti gye sɛ aban no soso abaa bɛka sɛ ɛwɔ mu sɛ treasury bill no ɛyɛ deɛ but memɛma partial guarantee because watoto nneɛma mu yie ɛyɛ me dɛ paa sɛ mete sɛ 12% ɛne 18% tax nkantete no na agro wokɔ agriculture mu a ɛma wo tax exemptions pii up to bare 10 years mbaagya meboa sɛsei no menim baabi a ɛda nti enabling environment na ɛma akuafoɔ timi yɛ adwuma no ɛwɔ sɛ ɛwɔ hɔ yɛn nso yɛbɛhyehyɛ yɛfie yie na ɛda hɔ na afei bank no timi aka sɛ ane
Matia na no krakra nansa na me no be wie ni akɔ na ne dɔkɔ no na afei yɛgye mo brɛ na mamo no em sɛ genti a yɛyɛ saa ɔfa we kra wasante kasɛm ne sɛ bodwabodwafoɔ no mɔbrɔwafoɔ no sɛbe ɔmo bɛte aseɛ ye no mate adwadie na se ye empempini na adwadie no sɛbe akɔɛ sɛ akuku dan na wɔne ka brɔfo no enti sɛ obi ɛyɛ bodwabodwa na ɔwɔ akwansidie bi ɛwɔ n'adwadie mu a ɛkwan bɛn so na obetumi afa nya saa akukuduro no banks ni benya ne ho abotre na ɔmatumi abie adwanim sɛne ɛbɛyɛ ɔmo so benya ɔmo kyɛfa ɛwɔ adwadie a yɛdi wɔ man mu
nokura wɔ ha na maka wɔho banks no any financial institutions no sɛbe yɛwɔ mu pii me na meyɛ adwuma wɔ savings and loans ɛhɔ no ɔmo yɛ trust groups na ɔmatumi a self guarantee nti sɛbe sɛ wonni japadeɛ ɛda hɔ a wode bɛba sɛ weyɛ me collateral a mobɛtumi ayɛ trust groups na maba na maka sɛ yɛ self guarantee yɛ ho ɛno wɔ hɔ bia na sika na wɔhwehwɛ no ɛyɛ kokorowa ɛyɛ kakraa bi ɛnti ɛno no administrative cost no bia bank kɛseɛ ɔnhwɛ ɛnso opportunity wɔ ha ya
Matia ma sɛ nana ma ne nsa so ɛmsɛ na ɔpɛ sɛ ɔsɔ so kakra na wada roma
ne kura ne awie no mo mmerɛ no so a nka betumi amma deɛ frɛ no sɛ examples no bebree ɛsiane sɛ mayɛ business no bi pɛn ɛna me nso no masan yɛ banker for over 50 years nti menim nti sɛ a nkurɔfoɔ ɛte factories a saa na so ɔyɛ industrialist a ɛgu bɛtumi ama wo bebree but mo time no so a ma menka baako pɛ nkyerɛ wo seesei a na obi wɔ ha mfa ntontiri sɛ ba sɛ Chinese ni ɛkɔgye facility ɛyɛ loan or whatever ɛwɔ ne kurom a interest rate ɛda so no ɛyɛ ahe ayere so a 2-3% bɛboa aha no yɛ bankers no ama yɛate aseɛ sɛ rate a ɔno no kɔbɔ besia wɔ Bank of Ghana no na ɔde aba anaasɛ ɔde ama obi a ɔpɛ sɛ ɔde no account no sika bɛto ne savings mu no ɛwɔ sɛ otua no no nti no bibia no wama wo deɛ na nkɔ soro kakra obiara kora mfa ne sika mba nti na ɛwɔ sɛ ɔno no ɛma wo deɛ wɔ soro kakra na ɛba ne sɛ ɔno nso so no otua ne akono ka na ɛwɔ sɛ otua ɛma ɛkɔyɛ deɛ ɛbɛba n'anim kakra ma no na ɔno nso deɛ nya ho ɛnɛ deɛ yɛhu ano sɛ banks no bebree na mi wɔ hɔ nyinaa saa na tie yɛpɛ sɛ at the end of every year no yɛbɛka sɛ minya profit so much ɛno nti no yɛpɛ profit kɛseɛ a yɛbɛka no abɔnten ama obiara ate ɛno na ɛyɛ yɛn dɛ yɛhu sɛ yɛba mu paa yɛyɛ adeɛ nti obi ba ɔsɛ me ne number 1 bank a metumi ma menya sika kɛseɛ hyɛn mu a maka nyinaa nanso no wode ama obi facility no wode ama no at the rate of 18%. Wode ama no 12% sɛ na wo campus obi kan wɔ ha sisi nanso no Chinese ni no deɛ wɔkɔgye ne kurom deɛ no 2-3%.
Okay.
ɛna wɔde afa nneɛma no na wɔde aba Ghana ɔde bɛduru Ghana wo a wogye wo deɛ 18%. No one wɔgye ne deɛ 2% no wobɛtumi na tɔn no pɛ
nti na wadaroma wo ka kosi sɛ yɛmmoa na ndwadie no a yɛdi ɔman mu no ɛne temamufoɔ fa no yɛmpagya no sen sɛ yɛsoso ahɔhoɔ ne so ɛsen kuromani no
ɛwɔ sɛ yɛde mmara bi to hɔ
mateaseɛ
sɛ woyɛ Chinese no na woba
wiɛ
wo nneɛma no a wode ba no yɛmproduce bi wɔ Ghana
mahu sɛ Dr. Apa Newton so ma ne nsa so pɛ sɛ ɔsɔ so tiawa anabna
Dr. Apa yɛbɛba ho ansa Dr. Wadaroma policy rate a Nana Abrapi a ɛka no yɛnim sɛ some few years ago na ɛgyina bɛsɛ 18%. Bank of Ghana de aba fam sɛsia ɛgyina 14%. Expectation ne sɛ bank ne kɔ Bank of Ghana kɔgye besia na policy rate yɛ 14% a wo a wokɔgye besia wɔ bank ne nkyɛn wɔ sɛ interest a wɔde to so ama no ɛba fam enti mo a modi dwa mokɔ bank no reflecte say Bank of Ghana to from 18 abedu 14 no interest rate no eswate and I go to Jamba
mini abekasa now mami kan chiro
eti onana
said me ko bo bisia ya give me interest of 10% 8% a me so metimi dias 80 and in the
banks not so na monte so council mamiti
pacho sika no obi sika and I was some factor in me risk me pacho what ma say inti buy and also jemu say mema mo soft loan na soft loan no me aban na me pese nkoso ba me krom no and me sponsor sepe ukọ amanfrofo fia sa na ye no 0%, 1%, 2% grant or the year juma na nkoso aba ne krom no abeton niema no wo wu krom
cancel obeto aso na risk no de bia bank for no ka kire agedifo no risk a wo ka no se mabeje besia e bia madwane ntisika na se a part of risk no meboa
and no can hold but operational cost
nyabotere mame ye no bako it is a sanity there beka say modernization digitalization and your masesa enti se mode anaso mode risk no e factor na Bank of Ghana te policy rate so na bank sent so madwadifo a na asa sinto bi wo honom mutitum
there be sebe who kuta 100 cedis na ka kire say Faber to have for 20% and I Faber to have for 10%. Sebi. Give an all the beko. And when we say untimi answer, sa Faber and a bank no a face into a same way dear a bank.
Nature say enforcement war. Inti when was so share banks the policy rate pay ejuma.
Policy rate no danche o.
Danche no mutuma mo sana mo ka.
Me paucho o. Policy rate no linked to yen economy and inflation. But say obi edge loan wo sebe China. 0 and 1 and 2 inti na buy ni kro no so aban na aginemu say medi aginemu ama wo na yetimi ama nkoso abaye krom na ye na nkoso no ba kro no mu wi a say ye cashew say ye fish ye betimi aton along all of West Africa say ye ntade a ye betimi aye say ye machinery ye betimi aton Africa nyina na Ghana asori agina ho ayaban o ayaban and I was said omudi aginemu ma business no akoso
Dr. Apa patriotism
we dem ye kuani enti na mpese me kasa ma akuafo ukọ banka onse ye moko ni bisia
obi ekuani a Dr. Wadaroma yafa Mike no ben wano
okuani farmer they don't give money for farmers loan. I hear that quite often.
How recent
Aden say on into scanner. It happened to me myself. Yes, I'm farmer because you go in. Now some back on best mechanics or elsewhere. Farmers are subsidized. Farmers are subsidized. I didn't have there Ghana, Yen Skemfia Baho. Nemo Oko Bobusian, it's I do want a risk in tea. Yeah, Mount Scanner, because we ever could be a Bruno in so on top. Why? A Hannes a Bible. A Hannes a Bible. Honorable with the Tandoka assembly about poultry and rice. Poultry industry can we import more than 1 billion, 1.3 billion chicken into the country. 1.3 billion. Niako poultry industry, I can get 500 outgrowers to work for me. We can produce the chicken. We can produce the chicken in this country. We have fresh chicken to eat. We employ jobs. We create jobs. We employ people. Why doesn't the government turn his attention to these things? Why? Now, farmer, this guy and farmer. Of course, this guy and farmer. The interest rate now, I can say, the government has to arrange with the banks, with their surpluses, to give a certain part of their money as a loan to the farmers. Soft loan. Over to me, any banks and I say, okay, farmers say, but into more profit, Montesca and the farmer and the bank, man, 8% of 13%. Because with a country without being having food security, you can be blackmailed.
Yeah.
You can be blackmailed.
Okay.
And to Mr. Bank for and the government, I dare some of my farmers, because we are a grocery country. Now, someone neglected a farmers, and another be a young farmers in Oscar, and a young farmers. Why don't you find ways and means of helping farmers?
Non farmer every ministry biara e wo Ghana na minister na oni ha on monontie do hu obra nipa ebre ansana won sako ano wati now ni edi wo bio no bi kan bibi eye kro no sem no e ma Dr. Apa editor so kro no ya ye nyina kro no ya ye kan na mbomu no adenti na wo hwe India ni we Chinese ni shop anasi baby a production bi a wo ye na e ho so no krono no e because wo ho ada tabi enne onyankopon ada roma abrofo mu di bibia ba mo se friend CCTV India ni bia na Chinese ni bia wo ye production bia no wo dia fadan no ho di bia si abontin nyina na obi ti ho na wo hwe ne sesi ni no wo to bo akokra na bam yemfa no emfanye adwuma na njese matimi company me wo industry di intino CCTV no wa unhu na ne sumfaso dabi yemfa no nhim na wo ye biwa ebesi kro no na no kakra mesrem bebre
Dr. Apa Newton Wadaroma also what you show saying
ne dikana yebeda empanyefo a edisa Kwahu Business Forum e bayan ama esa platform ase se bibi se abane etimi ejina ha ne kasa ema amamfo ye bakasa mayenya na eko aban emu nti yɛde aseda bɛma mo nti nyɛsɛ aban ne sɛ mogya saa nkɔmmɔ a yɛdi nne a momfa nkɔ adwendwen mu na mmoa mobɛtumi de aboa ayi sɛ interest ayi rate o sɛ nso korɔ no na ɛnna ɛno yɛmentumi nya ho hwee
yɛbɛtumi ayɛ ho biribi ɛsɛ ɛsesa yɛ adwen
ɛyɛ adwen sakra ɛna wɔsɛ nipa nya
ɛna sɛ nti banks mu no ɔbɛkasa na nyɛ import ayi nkoa na ɔkɔ a bɛgye sika kɔtɔ nneɛma bɛtɔn na ɛyɛ yi na monhwɛ farmers because we are the pillars of the nation. Without farmers we are nothing. Can be blackmailed. Let's be able to have food sufficiency.
Beautiful.
Food security in the nation is very important, and it creates jobs. It creates jobs. And the best buying so more farmers na yedwana enkoso.
You're Theodore Bright now also who the same.
Media de kakra bi meda aban ase se wanya sutie aka se wo se nkoso ba ye bra mu wo krom ha Ghana ha inti ye badwin sene be ye no ena obi se yenye 24-hour economy eno de wada o wanyane o ye be produce inti adas asida ene de be mamo ni aka se mo ya mo ndwin sene krofo producers obia betimia integrate into the 24-hour economy. They make chat so and they say capital and assets jetri no ehia inti aban bamu na otimi kase meji adanse ama we ana we a ebeboa se sika yeje ne bank any interest a yetua ne bank no beba form the trust work kra ne se bank no ma me aban no mema wo grant ana mema wo soft loan. Thank you.
Yeda say yabedwafo ye nemu di dwuma wie yi nana abrapia ye price so kronte ne osanso businessman ye banker Dr. Apa Newton doctor or surgeon and na wasanso ye kue no kwa pepiase a poultry farmer woka no esewani kosua nyina o produce no dodo na yera Theodore Albright emranimu ni na ba no abusua wodo edwade a oyobi a consult manager pa omo na omo kan ye ho awie yi ye di dwuma ye bre we di amegye so ene abena pokua mene
Don Kwabena Pra yebeda mo ase
emefa aso edase
Toma yedase pa Don yedase. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been so kind with the time, your patience. Oh dear. On behalf of the President and of course the Vice President, and as well Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff, who's powered this event, I'd like to say thank you so much. Lunch is however served. You've been sitting for a while. The ushers will usher you to the various tables. We'll definitely respect the protocols. So the dignitaries will go to my left, and then invited guests as well will go to my right to have lunch. But the fair as well continues till 5 p.m. and a gentle reminder that we have the presidential ball. I still have the power to announce that the president will be present for the dinner and as well tomorrow's event. And our partners, and if you have an invitation as well, you're invited. My name is Emefa Akosiadati. This has been quite an interesting opening ceremony of the 2026 Kwahu Business Forum, and I piloted this with Kojo Dankwa. I shall see you a little later this evening. Have a good one.
It begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy
Just a little amendments to the lunch. We acknowledge that you've been sitting for a while, and so we've packaged the food. You can carry it along, and so you can remain seated. The ushers will bring it to you, but still do respect the protocol. Thank you so much.
Institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Kwahu Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage